Okay, so today we're going to talk about the gaming Embody and how to adjust it properly. So we're going to start with the simple basics and then move forward from there. Alright, first thing that we need to go through is the very most basic essential feature, and that is the height adjustment. To adjust the height on the Embody chair, which is the same on the gaming or the regular, you're going to use this little joystick right here, which a lot of people think and mistake for just a decoration. It's actually the height joystick for your chair. Make sure you grab onto it with your finger and hook it and really pull up. It's going to take some considerable amount of tension, so apply that force upwards. While you sit up, it goes up, and then if you want it to go down, keep holding that joystick in the upward position and then sit down. Your weight will naturally bring down the chair. Next, we're going to discuss the seat depth. This is the seat depth for the Embody, and to properly adjust that, you're going to grab these handles and then let off some of the pressure and weight from the front of the chair, and then pull up and forward. And then when you want to decrease, while your feet are still slightly elevated above the seat, pull up and then backward. So make sure you're not applying too much weight on that upper seat depth area. Next, we're going to go through the height adjustments of the arms. Buttons underneath the arms are going to be what you're going to need to press on. So push up on these buttons under the arms, and you can slide them up and down as they're telescoping. For the same buttons, you can pull these buttons up and push inward and outward to either add some more support internally or remove the support. So next is the tension control, which is going to be on this side actually. The tension control is on your right side when you're sitting. The same shaft that controls the joystick, that outer shaft, the black one, it's going to be a rubberized grip. Clockwise is going to increase the tension on the back. So if you're heavier like me, you're going to want to increase the tension. If you're lighter weight, you're going to decrease the tension by going counterclockwise. Now if you're super heavy and you have this really loosened, it's going to feel like you're flying back. So if you ever feel like you're flying back in your chair, that means your weight needs you to increase the tension by twisting it clockwise. And then if it feels too stiff, it feels like even when I put my weight, I have to muscle backwards. That means there's too much tension and you need to decrease that tension by going counterclockwise. And for the tilt limiter, this will control the angle in which the chair is stopped. So all the way forward and up is 90 degrees. So the back of the chair will not go beyond 90 degrees. One click after that is about 10 degrees beyond that, so 100, and another 110, 120. So the lumbar support is on the right side. To adjust it, it's preferred that you actually put your back on the chair so that you know when and where to stop the control. Going forward, you're going to increase the spinal positioning forward. This spine is going to push the back forward, and that will cause the fabric to conform more to your back. And then if you feel that it's pushing too far forward, because this is how you're evaluating it by sitting there and putting your back up against it, then you will then decrease the lumbar tension by going counterclockwise. So forwards clockwise, increase tension, backwards counterclockwise decreases the tension. So this is the furthest, most forward position of the lumbar support. And as you can see, it's really forcing me forward, almost kind of like in a forward tilt position, but not really because the Embody doesn't have a forward tilt, but it feels like it's pushing me forward. It's angled forward. And now I'm going to show you in a quick speed through the most reclined position. And now this is the most posteriorly position of the lumbar support for the Embody. Now I feel like the back is really far away from where it was originally. I'm leaning much further back to actually get that same level of support. So most of us, if you're like me, you're gonna probably want something in between, in the middle. Probably right where it gets a little bit stiffer, but not too much. This is the final feature of the Embody, the custom-made and matched Embody Headrest by OfficeLogix. Here, as you can see, is the black gaming version of the Embody, the back plate being black, and then the black sync fabric. So we're going to start off with the X-axis control, which is controlled through this knob here, the rubberized knob, which emulates the rubberized knob for the lumbar support. Once that's loosened, you're able to adjust the headrest at an angle that mostly controls the X-axis in this plane. So how far forward you want it. Once you have it at the right plane, tighten it by tightening it again clockwise once it tightens to a point where it's not moving. And so the next point of actuating is from right here. And these pivot points controls the angle of the headrest. Once you've already adjusted the depth on the X-axis, you can adjust the angle and also control the height. Now, if you receive this headrest, it's very important that you have these at the tightest function so that the headrest does not flop while you sit, but does not tighten it to the point that it will prevent this from happening. This will still be a feature that you can adjust when you're sitting down. This is not meant to stop that completely, but it's rather meant from preventing it to flop completely when you're sitting. After I have everything set up and adjusted properly in the headrest position where I'd like, I'm gonna try to fine tune it by sitting down. So it's a little bit high for me. I'm gonna push it down a little bit, and now I can angle it. Okay, here for me, this is the perfect position where it's covering most of the bottom of my head and the middle of my head and also part of my neck. Whereas I know some people, they come in and they try these and they like to actually make it more of a neck rest. And so you want to push it a little bit further down, and then the taller person will be able to have it more on their neck. But for us, most people like myself prefer to have it as an actual headrest. And I like this, and so I can still pivot it in different angles and then also control the height.